Hey Bay fans, Professor K here. Now, I get this question a lot. Also, sorry I've not been uploading as much. I'm currently going through my GCSE exams, so I've not been able to upload as much. Been going through some life difficulties and stuff like that. So yeah, but I get this question asked by a lot of people in my school. Not as much through comments, but from people in person, asking me how do I play Beyblades. So this video is to show how to Beyblade Burst by Professor K, and then I just got the channel name here, so yeah. Anyways, so in this video we'll be covering the history of the franchise, the anime, the different generations, launches, stadiums, and then at the very bottom, how to battle. So just saying, in this section of the video, it's gonna get long, so I'll try and get through as quick as I can. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. So Beyblades, yeah, it's not the most prettiest one, but slides, by the way, just for yeah. So yeah, Beyblades are based off of these old Japanese coins called Beigomas. I'll pull up a picture now. So yeah, these are Beigoma coins. They're coin-sized metal spinning tops that battle each other in a cloth arena. See, the ancestor of modern Beyblades. So yeah, that's what these are. So yeah, they first appeared in July 17th, 1999 in Japan, but in 2002 they were released internationally to North America, Europe, and the UK. They started in the plastic generation, which we'll get to. Then 2008, 2 years before, 2 years before I was born, they had the metal generation, and then 2010, they were released. So the year I was born, Metal Fights was introduced to America, and then 2015, Beyblade Burst was released, which lasted basically 7 years, I'm pretty sure. And yes, I wrote all of this myself, and then stuff like that. So this is the timeline of the show. The original Plastic Gem Beyblade show started in January 8th, 2001 to December 24th, 2001. So it lasted around a year. And now on April 5th, 2009, so a whole 8 years later after the first show ended, Beyblade Metal Fight, even though I chose the Metal Masters poster, it was the only one I could get in good quality. In April 5th, 2009, the Metal Fight show started and ended around 3 years later on December 23rd, 2012. So I was 2 when this existed. And then April 4th, 2016, Beyblade Burst first showed up with this version of the anime. And then around 7 different shows happened, so it only ended in December 23rd, 2023, which was sadly only 3 years ago. And then on October 6th, 2023, during the still airing of this Beyblade Burst Quad, they were creating the brand new Beyblade show, Beyblade X, which first aired October 6th, 2023, and it's still continuing to this day. So this is the plastic generation. They were the original series of Beyblade toys for the anime. This one. Yeah. They started in 1999. They were really lightweight. They were like a construction kit, like those model kits where they come in like these frame bits. Also, sorry if you hear itching, my eczema's playing up. Yeah, there was like only one metal part. This is Dragoon Storm. I'm pretty sure he's the protagonist, bay. Then again, I've done no research on actually who owns what bay in this show. I was born in 2010, so this was way before my life. This is a picture of the old box art I found off Google. And yeah, the Beyblades back then were consisted of 9 parts. I've labelled them here: the blade base, weight disc, spin gear with SG core, tack ring, bit chip, and yeah. So this is just what you need to make this Beyblade. And then the metal generation. So yeah. Also, if you want to pause these. Oh, alright, so it turns out this guy's name's Ginka, as it says here. Yeah. I don't know why it cuts off there. I'll probably, hold on. I worked a lot on this, bit out of space. So yeah, so this is the protagonist bay, Storm Pegasus. And then the box art here is for Meteor El Drago, the antagonist bay, which was a left spin with rubber, and I'm pretty sure it had metal in. It was the best bay in the generation. No one could beat it back then, apparently. It was made of 4 parts: the face, the wheel, the track, and the bottom. So we just got like the core chip, the layer. This just gives it height and then bit. So yeah. And then we came Then we come to my generation, as I call it, Beyblade Burst. So yeah. It was launched by Takara Tomy, the original makers, in 2015. Their whole gimmick was, oh, they can explode into pieces. Which they still do nowadays, but not as much. Which gave it a special winning condition in battles. It also has the most variations for Beyblades. Most Beyblades in the show got like 1 or 2 evolutions in the whole franchise. Or they got like multiple, like Storm Pegasus, you got Storm, Galaxy, loads of them. I don't know them off by heart. But this is the original protagonist made Valtryek. You'll see him lots throughout these slides. So when the show didn't originally start with the first design. The first design originally showed up in Beyblade Burst manga with this design. But when the TV show actually came out, they gave every Beyblade a custom upgrade design, which is this. This one's just called Valtryek, single layer Valtryek. And then this one's called Victory Valtryek, Genesis, Strike God, Winning, Turbo. I think Sword. One of these is Sword and the other one's Slash. Savior, then Ultimate. Yeah, these two, even though they're in the same generation, the reason there's an arrow, unlike these ones, which are in the same generation and have no arrows, these two was basically spread across 2 shows, where these were spread across 1. I had to split how they're assembled into 3 parts. First, we have basically layer. I used Burst Spryzen over Morbius as my explanation. I'm not gonna get too far into it. Basically, it used to be 3 parts, and then in GT, which was this generation, so in all these, it was 3 parts. Here it became 4 because of the metal weight. Here it became 5 because you had the chip, the layer, the double chassis, the driver. So still 4. And then Dynamite made it chip, layer, armor, ratchet, driver. Made it 5 pieces. So this is the Rensu weight, as shown in this. So yeah, I couldn't find a dynamite weight, which I later found out was called armor, but I didn't put that in yet. And then I talked about the ratchets. So before, the ratchets were small, not that heavy, and called discs. I call them ratchets because it sounds cooler. I don't know where I picked it up from because I didn't watch Beyblade X until, I'd like to say, halfway through 2024. So yeah. But I called them ratchets. I think I picked it up from someone that nicknamed them that before they were actually called ratchets now. And then, yeah. So they give burst resistance and weight. These ones you could add little upgrades called frames on. You can't with these ones. And then these lasted until Sparking, where there was a new system it added. And then in the final show, we got the dynamite level parts, which are these three. Over Legal Giga, the three best dynamite discs, which were heavier, better weight distribution, and yeah, these were the top three best best discs in the game. Then the drivers. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into this list. If you want to read it, just pause now. Basically, you could have ones with rubber, metal on them, retractable parts, ones that even shoot out other Beyblades, ones that make you taller, ones with little spiky things that might make it worse, ones that had free spinning bits, and yeah. So if you want to pause out throughout this video, that's fine. Alright, here's where it gets complicated. So Beyblade Burst had 7 different shows. The first one, which is Generation 0 as I call it, the manga version. So I picked one of each type of Beyblade, so attack, defense, stamina, balance, and then I picked my favorite one to put in. You'll notice a pattern that all my favorite ones are, for some reason, balance types. So yeah. And then I basically, single layers were the very first season. They were simple one-piece layers. They were really light, and yeah, they were easy to burst. Yeah. They also, when Hasbro started making them, they changed the names. So Valtryek, so in Japan, it's Valtryek. In everywhere else, it's Valkyrie, Spryzen or Spriggan, Rocktavor or Ragnarok, Cabeus or Kreis or, well, Kreis or Kelbus, one or two. In Japan, it's Excalibur. In everywhere else, it's Excalius. Then a few more on here. And then when the show first came out, ooh, yeah, my favorite is Excalibur. It was the best attack type at the time. Attack types weren't so hot back then. And back then, I was not into balance types like I am now. So first generation, they get their upgrades. So we have Victory Valtryek, Storm Spriggan, Kaiser Kirbius, Raging Rocktavor or Ragnarok, whichever one you like. They have no gimmicks, which is really basic. And yeah, I also put them in the formation of the type charts. So attack's better than stamina's better than defense is better than attack. But balance is in between and has no weaknesses or advantages. Generation 2, God Series. Oh, that's actually something I should remind. When choosing a babe, so the whole point of these slides, talking about generations and then what they're like. I know I go into more about Burst since there's more to talk about, but Beyblade is all about finding what you feel is right for you. So for me, Beyblade Burst has always been my rightful generation. I always played with it, but always find your generation before anything, and once you find it, you can do that. So, yeah. And God series, so evolutions. Oh yeah, for some reason, after God's, evolution, there was 2 different names. So, internationally, it's called Beyblade Burst Evolution. In Japan, it's Beyblade Burst God. And then my favorite, so these ones, I should probably not skip over these. These Beyblades have special gimmicks. Valtrak had a spring-loaded gimmick where when you hit the blades, they'd spring back and then launch back. It wasn't good in real life, but in the show, it was awesome. We got introduced into 2 new Spryzen. Legend Spryzen, which was dual spin, meaning it can spin left and right, becoming even more versatile. And then we got introduced to Spryzen Requiem, the #1 best Beyblade in the generation. It was dual spin, had rubber. Yes, Beyblades now had rubber. And it was basically a circle. It was invincible. No one could beat it. Then we got introduced to some new Beyblades. For example, Saturn, which had these 3 spin wheel orbs to try and rebound attacks. It wasn't good in real life. A lot of these gimmicks weren't actually good in real life. They were better in the show. And then we got introduced to Fafnir. I forget which one this is. There's too many names. This one was a left spin bay with rubber to absorb spin. Yes, Beyblades can absorb spin. Then we come to my generation. Oh yeah, in this generation, Valtrak driver gets destroyed. So that's why this version exists. The God chips change and the driver is different. And yeah. Now we're into my favorite generation, the Turbo generation, also known as Cho-Z. So in this one, protagonist gets swapped for Iger Akabane, Volt you get replaced. We meet bays like Z Achilles, a balance type with the ability to get taller by changing up its driver's shape. Then we get the defense type Emperor Fornius. I actually own these 3 bays here in real life. I don't own a Turbo Valtrak. Archer Hercules. Kids back in the day when this came out, everyone was using him to win tournaments. He was OP. Turbo Valtrak only exists because Igo got possessed by his bay. And yeah. And then GT actually brought a revolutionizing system. So you can now take apart the layers of Beyblades into 3 parts. The blade, which is like this main contact bit. The Rensu, which is the metal weight that goes along the sides. And then the chip. I used Valtrak's chip. A left-sided unbalanced chip, a Rensu. And then, yeah. The bays I chose were Ace Dragon, Glyph Dragon, Rock Dragon, and Master Devilos. Who's my fave? Yeah. It was just more customizable. And they started to get a lot bigger, the Beyblades did. Then we had Spark and Super King, which introduced new systems called double chassis, where they were like assist blades. So they'd have extra contact points. Variant Lucifer, although his double chassis, I think 2D, gave him a barrier, it made him worse. So yeah. And this was actually so each time the protagonist changed. So originally it was Volt, then Iger, then Dante. Now it's Hyuga and Hikaru. Oh, and then we got a new Fafnir. And then this was the final generation. Yes, I know it says 6 and 7. Don't spam it in the comments, please. The final 2 generations were same show, just under 2 different names. Quad Drive and Quad Strike, or DB, Dynamite Barrels, and then BU. The BU generally stood for nothing back then. So we had the protagonist with his babe Bellfire, who got 3 different evolutions and special gears for 2 shows. Vanish Fafnir, Chain Cabeus, no, my personal favourite, Zest or Zeal Achilles. Yeah, Bellfire, you could get these special gears from other Beyblades. So F gear from Fafnir, V from Valtrak, and yeah, they all gave it special abilities. Now we're on to Beyblade X. The newest generation gave us more metal, gave us a new system where the bays on their driver had little tabs. They hit stadium, they get faster. And yeah. So yeah, Attack type's got a major boost in this generation. I love Incendio. Yeah, some reason in Japan it's Dran's Sword, Hell's Scythe, Wizard Arrow, Knight Helm, but internationally they swap it around. But because of censored issues, they changed Hell's Scythe into Scythe Incendio. Also, new system of how to tell a Beyblade's typings is very difficult originally. You just have to guess. Oops, sorry. But now it all matters on the driver. It's like you could have Scythe Incendio of the same layer ratchet, but one could have a taper driver, which is this driver, or Low Rush, which is a shorter but darker version of this Beyblade's driver, and it would count as 2 different types. They also made multiple expansions for this series, which are here. I used the Incendios. So we have BX, which are simple designs with all metal on the tops, and yeah, they're just basic designs. UX, which were more unique, so custom molds. They had metal around the edges, but plastic going inwards. CX, this Beyblade was made out of like so many parts. It was the lock chip, the layer, the assist blade, the ratchet, the driver. 5 parts, while the rest of these are 3. So yeah. Launchers. Beyblades cannot reach maximum speed unless you have a launcher. To use a launcher, you just put the Beyblade on it. Some people struggle with this. That's fine. And then you pull either the string or a ripcord, and the Beyblades will fly off into the stadium or arena and will then hit high speeds and battle. You can get accessories for some launchers, such as hand grips, weight dampeners, handles, everything. So yeah, stadiums, one of the most important things about Beyblades. So they all come in different shape sizes. Like Burst had ones with 3 pockets. The community made life-sized ones, and then X you could get little carry cases that you could fold into a little briefcase and take on the go. If you don't have access to a stadium and you're in school, use like a school bin or something that has a flat surface and walls. I do it a lot. Or if you're at the park and you have one of those giant swings that are like a bowl shape, use those. Be careful, attack types will hit higher speeds. And yeah. This next section is the battle section, teaching you strategies of how Beyblades will act and also how to play the game. So, I was going to include stadium gimmicks, but I couldn't be bothered. So, first type is attack types. Yeah, I hand drew this chart myself. So attack types are strong against stamina types, but weak against defense types, as they're fast, low to the ground, and circle the outer area with max stamina, but after a while they'll move into a flower petal shape and lose stamina and then slow down and spin slower. And each one is represented by a blue line. Defense types, they are counter to attack types but weak against stamina. They start center in but will just go straight for center to basically stop its competitors from reaching center. Not much, they just endure attacks. Stamina types are good against defense but weak against attack. They're tall, and they use rotate in inertia, so flywheel effect. If you don't know what it means, actually, hold on. Mechanical phenomenon where heavy rotating wheel stores rotational kinetic energy. So yeah, basically stamina types hold strategies, take center stage, and outlast their opponents. Attack types will just hit them because they're so tall they'll easily get knocked over. Defense types, they're heavier, so they have less stamina, but will run out of spin faster. So yeah. Beyblade X gave us the extreme system, where Beyblades had tabs on them. They would connect to these rails across the outline. Once they do, for example, they'd hit here, connect, speed up, reach here, launch off, and hit into the opponent. And this is called an extreme dash. How to play the game. So Beyblade Burst and Beyblade X are two different battle systems. So Beyblade Burst, you usually have 2 to 4 bladers. Winning a match, it's either first to 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, and yeah. So each one's connected to a color. So Survivor finishes is where your bay runs out of stamina and stops spinning before your opponent, where it's worth 1 point to win against a bay. For example, if we had 2 bays, one was in center stage and then the other one was on the outer edge and stopped spinning, that would be a win to the still spinning bay with a Survivor finish. A ring out finish is when a Beyblade gets hit out of the arena. So if a Beyblade made contact here and got launched out, it'd be a ring out. Burst finishes are only special to Burst and X, where a Beyblade gets hit so hard that all their pieces just into their separate parts. So I've tried to explain how as best I can. Alright, Beyblade X. It's the same with ring out, survivors, and bursts, but you get the extreme finish when you hit a Beyblade into the giant pocket between 2 of the ring out pockets, which is worth 3 points. And yeah. Anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed. Oh my god, I know it's been a while since you've seen my face. Also, if you're wondering why I'm doing this in the dark, I don't know if I said this, I'm losing my mind. I couldn't sleep. So anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed. This is How to Beyblade by Professor Kane. Hope you guys like, subscribe, and if there's anything you want me to explain more or go over, please comment it down below. I love to hear your suggestions of what you want to know. and I'll grab some footage of some practice battles to show you what I mean. Anyways, you guys been superstars. Hope to see you guys next time. See ya.